This is Chris Christensen from Amateur Traveler, standing on Mount Hubbard Glacier, the largest tidewater glacier on Earth, the largest non-polar glacier ice fields in the Yukon. When I was in the Yukon this summer, I had a chance to do the coolest thing, which was a flight-seeing tour in Kluane National Park. This is a small plane that you go up in that barely holds 4 people, and it is a plane that is constructed so that it can go really slowly, so that it can land and take off from both short runways and, as it turns out, from glaciers, as it has skis. The runway was right by Kluane Lake. This is a dynamic environment, and the interesting thing is that just recently the river that came down off the glacier into this valley dried up. It diverted into a completely different valley and now actually empties into a different sea. As you're looking at the glaciers, you'll see these long, dark stripes down the glaciers, and those are median moraines. And what that is where 2 glaciers meet, the rock that they have along their side will turn into one of these stripes. And so if you count the dark stripes, you could actually see how many different glaciers had merged to form this particular glacier. I wish I had found a way to record the running commentary that I was getting through my headphones about which mountains we were looking at, but there didn't seem a way to do that technically. Look down at some of these glaciers, and it's interesting. You'll see these bright blue pools of water that are these glacial ice melt. It's an impossible shade of blue. The tallest peak in this area is Mount Logan, which is the 2nd tallest mountain in North America, but there's a number of other peaks which are almost 3 miles high. I don't know why, but I just sort of assumed that landing on a glacier would be rough. It was actually the smoothest landing I have ever been in. It was took a while to slow down, but it really was landing on fluffy white snow. It was amazing standing on a glacier. Honestly, the best part of the flight was the flying part rather than the landing part, but it's still pretty cool to say you've landed on a glacier. But better views when you are flying, but still pretty amazing to be up here on what feels like the top of the world. On the way back, we flew at an even lower altitude, and so we flew closer to the glaciers. You could see things like where the water was melting and then running down the glacier into little hidden pools below the glacier. This is not an inexpensive flight, but if you ever get a chance to do it, I highly recommend a flight-seeing tour in Kluane National Park, as it is just stunning, and even the photos and even the video can't capture it. And this is Chris Christensen from Amateur Traveler.